Good morning. This is your host, Mike C., of course, and the star of the show, as always, it's Bucky. Bucky, say hi. Bucky says hi. We're a little early today because I have a doctor appointment later on, so I wanted to get this video out. And we didn't do one last week. Took a little break. We wanted to see what happened in free agency, and man, what a wild ride that was. Ooh, still going on. Um, Tons of signings, big names. I'm not going to go over all of them, obviously. This will take way too long. And I want to focus on the Lions. And started out shaky, very slow. I was very disappointed. Uh, they were mentioning a few players, did not get the ones I really wanted, but they did sign. They got a fairly good grade as far as free agency. Very subjective. If you don't win the first day or so, you're kind of downgraded, and you don't make a huge splash, a big signing, you tend to get lost, and especially when East Coast bias teams get big signings, um, that just tends to diminish everybody else, and that's what happened this year. Saquon Barkley, for example, I believe he went to the Eagles, I think, like that, and they just focus on that and just harp on that for a long time. We're not going to go there. I will mention a few players, and I didn't write this one down on my note, but it does affect the Lions. Um, the Lions lost Kirk, quarterback. He signed with the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, and that's a major blow to the Vikings. They will sign. They did make a move, and I compliment on them actually. Uh, they trade for another first rounder with the Texans for not a lot, I didn't think. And so they have two first round picks now, and they're going to trade up probably to the second or third spot with either the Commanders or the Patriots, and they will draft a quarterback. Who they draft, Drake May, guy from LSU, J.J. McCarthy. I've seen, Bo Nix. I don't think they'll go that high for him, but they will draft a quarterback for the future. So that was a huge, huge deal. But and I didn't actually write that on my list. A few big moves that I thought happened, not necessarily free agent. The Bears traded Justin Fields to the Steelers for a sixth round pick with a conditional fourth round. The playing time, and the Steelers also signed Russell Wilson, another huge deal. So uh, the compensation for Justin Fields was shocking. I had seen first round picks, second round picks earlier, and to get him for a sixth. I'd be a little upset if I was Justin Fields, but we'll see what happens with his career. They might get Russell Wilson for a year or two, and then it might take over, but they have to re-sign him. But it's not Steelers' page here, Bucky. Um, the other huge I thought was happening was not a signing; it was a Aaron Donald retired, and the reason I bring that up is because that'll always stick in the throat of Lions fans, and they could have drafted him. Instead, they drafted Eric Ebron. We all know that story. And I remember at the time, it's like, oh man, really a tight end, and that really cemented the anti-tight end in the first round for me. Um, the Lions have since done it, after that, but that's when they really. And I got a lot of good Eric Ebron cards. That's not the point. But speaking of cards, Bucky, what in the world do you have in front of you today? Well, happy day happened a few days ago. Um, we went to Barnes and Noble, and lo and behold, they had the Lindy Sports Pro Football Draft Magazine, my favorite magazine of the year. I love the regular season magazine, but this one it's just special to me, and I haven't read it all yet. Obviously, I looked through it, and I had a gift card, birthday gift, or no, I'm sorry, Christmas gift card from the year before And I finally used that up. And I had a little extra on it, but I gave it to Carlos, so I was like, eh. And so I got my magazine. I love it. The big difference I've noticed is there are not a lot of pictures of the players in this one. Unless you're the first one, there's very few other ones. So that's a little disappointing. But I've already checked on Pinterest. I put in like 3 or 4 random players' names, and I found, pictures of all of them. So my board's going to look different. My picture frame is going to look very different, but we'll get it done. But I probably won't have a picture from the magazine. Odds are not looking very good, but especially with the Lions pick at 29. But we got the magazine. I love it. And in front of the magazine, I've had 3 cards that I've wanted to show for a while. Now, you've probably seen these all already, but it's probably been a while. On the left, I've got, who the hell is that? Mir Abdullah with a big, long patch. On the opposite side of him, speaking of which, I got Eric Ebron with another long patch, almost the same card, to be honest with you. And I thought, well, those are nice cards. And I've had them, ready to display for at least 2 weeks now. So I thought, show them. And the middle, one of my favorite cards, is a gold Matthew Stafford card with a huge O from the Lions right in the middle there. So that's a cool card. I'm pretty sure you've seen that one before. But to continue, now the free agency, like I said, the Lions started off very slow, and but they did make up for it. They signed outside linebacker Marcus Davenport from the Vikings. Vikings also lost Danielle Hunter, which I really wanted the Lions to sign, but he signed. What did he sign with? I can't remember who he signed with. Texans, maybe. I'm not sure of that, but none of the Lions didn't get him. I really wanted. I think it was from Texas. So that's where he signed, and that's okay. But they're both off the Vikings, and that's the important thing. The other teams didn't really make. The Bears had a lot of money. The Packers made some good signings. Like I said, the Bears did okay. They signed a few good players actually. Packers, they had quite a lot, but I don't think they were huge names. So they were all busy. They all improved in the NFC North. A few other players the Lions signed. They re-signed Dan Skipper, everybody's favorite. They traded for Carlton Davis, a cornerback from the Bucks, and he's already restructured his contract. Just I think today, if not maybe yesterday, saving him like $4.5 million more. So that's good. That means he's a team player. I like that. And he's a very good cornerback. I don't know if he's a number 1. He might be. We'll see. It depends who they draft. They also signed Amik Robertson, a cornerback from the Raiders. A smallish cornerback, but a very good one. And we'll see. They're going to battle it out. The secondary has been greatly improved for the Lions. They're going to get rid of a few other players, and so the secondary will be better. And they still got the draft coming up, which we'll talk a little bit about. The big signing for the Lions was DJ Reader, a nose tackle from the Bengals. Huge man, 6'4", 330. Very good player. His main problem was injuries. He had, in 2 separate occasions, torn biceps. But the Lions doctors checked him all out. Apparently he's okay. He'll be healed in time for training camp. That's pretty much the Lions' MO. If you're injured, you can be signed by the Lions, which comes back to the draft. But so that was a big sign for that. That was their big sign. That was, it wasn't the first couple days. So I'm very happy about that. And what that does with the corners and the nose tackle is still keeps the option open of signing or drafting defensive tackle, cornerback, and edge. And you're talking about guard for the first, and it's a need. There's a huge hole, but you can get those in the second round. You don't have to reach in the first round for a guard, in my opinion, or a center. Just don't have to do it. I've seen 1,000 mocks, maybe more. Some have been very good. Some have been like, no. Kool-Aid's still down there, and he's injured, so that's a perfect candidate. Defensive edge, Chop is still, I've seen available and drafted in quite a few mocks. Sweat, the big tackle from Texas, is still on the board. And at 29, I mean, you can, dip a little bit. It's not a huge deal. So corner is still available. Defensive end, defensive tackle, not as much, I think, but corner and edge, I think, are still the two most prominent selections for the Lions. And they could trade up. I'm not a big fan of that. You have so many draft picks. I'd rather them trade up than trade out of the first round. Because good players always fall. It's just nature of the beast. People start panicking, especially for the quarterbacks. The first three quarterbacks are expected to go 1, 2, 3, just like that. And people get desperate, so they trade up. And we'll see what happens. The draft, is a little more than a month away. It's very exciting. And I'm already making plans. Party mix and my shrimp, of course. And but I have to read my magazine, which I'm going to get to. And, sooner than later. But that's pretty much, news on the Lions. Other teams, spring training is almost over. The Reds, I saw in a magazine the same day I bought this one. Lindy Sports, great job again. The Reds were picked for first. I've seen a little bit of them in spring training, not much. I hope in the magazine I knew 1 or 2 players at the most. So we'll see what happens with that. The Blackhawks have been eliminated, I mentioned last video. They're still playing, there's still a few teams. I saw something yesterday. They're in the top 1 or 2 odds of getting the first overall player. So they should get a very high pick again this year, which is great. Connor is playing back, to his normal self. Multiple assists game a couple days ago. They've been eliminated, of course, but so we'll see. I knew that they were going to make the playoffs this year anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. So at the Badgers men basketball, they beat Purdue and they lost to Illinois in the Big Ten championship. Not a huge deal. They made the dance. I think they're in the same bracket as Nebraska, so they might play them again. So that'll be fun. I don't know about again. Well, yeah, but they might play them in the big dance. And that starts, I think, tomorrow? Something like that. I don't follow college basketball, but I didn't do a bracket this year either. But the Badgers are in it, so that's good. And, they're still making some noise in the college football. That's totally, the different, the conferences being in the playoffs and things like that. So I'll have to get a magazine for that because I can't keep track of all that. But it's very exciting. And my video, it's been, again, 2 weeks. I didn't check. See, I'll put that in the comments later. But in my obvious mock is doing pretty well. And I will have, a few more mocks. And, the big news, like I said, was Kirk Cousins. And that changed a lot of things. It weakened the Vikings. And the Vikings' best defensive player also was lost. So, and then they made the trade. So the Vikings have been in the news lately. And of course, that does affect the Lions. But I think that's about it, Bucky. We had a very good video here. And very excited about the magazine. And so this will be go on the wall afterwards. Like I said, not a lot of pictures, but I've got Pinterest, so we'll compensate for that. So for Mike C and, of course, Star Show, as always, it's Bucky. Bucky's up there. Say bye, Bucky. Bucky says bye. And I think is he up there? There he is. He's in there. He's at the very top, just the angle of the camera. So take care, everybody. Be safe, be kind, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.